Pretty much every year now, we tend to hear about a former Laker being linked back to their team, often through trade, but sometimes through free agency and or the buyout market, and more often than not, it goes completely nowhere. I mean, throughout the past year now, and even throughout the past few months, they've been linked to former Lakers like Dennis Schroeder, Kyle Kuzma, Andre Drummond, and even a few more after that, and that's gone completely nowhere at all. And well, the new Laker, or rather former Laker that's linked to their team this time, happens to be former number 2 overall draft pick Lonzo Ball, a guy they once had high hopes for, a guy they traded as part of the Anthony Davis trade, and well, now he's being linked back to their team. According to Jovan Buha of The Athletic, Lonzo Ball is a player that is quote-unquote expected to be on the Lakers' radar. But should that be the case to their team? Would he be a good fit for their team? Would he be worth trading for? Or could they sign him through the buyout market if you had entered the buyout market? We'll talk about that and much more in today's video. But before we get too far into it, let's go over our game day picks with Underdog Fantasy, the best way to get in on the NBA action this season. And if you're a new sign-up, you can pick Jason Tatum to have higher than 0.5 points tonight. No, we don't want him to, but he obviously will have at least 1 point. So yeah, take advantage of that free pick. But then for my picks, for pick number 1, I got Anthony Davis having a double-double tonight. He's now had one in 15 straight games, so I think he can again tonight. Then for pick number 2, I got LeBron making more than 1.5 3-point shots. He's made at least 2 in 5 straight games and 9 out of their past 10 games. Then for pick number 3, I got Dorian Finney-Smith having higher than 5.5 points. That minute restriction is going up, so more opportunity for more points. Then for pick number 4, I got Kawhi Leonard having higher than 1.5 assists. Same with Dorian Finney-Smith, that minute restriction is going up for him, and so more opportunity for more assists. Then for pick number 5, former Laker Kyle Kuzma having higher than 2.5 assists. Then for my final pick, Ivica Zubac having a double-double as well. But if you're looking to make your own picks, then be sure to check out Underdog Fantasy, and don't forget to use code JSM to get your free pick, plus up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you make a deposit. But now getting back to our topic, and again, with Lonzo Ball, definitely a lot riskier, but it might be a high risk, high reward kind of trade to make. Currently averaging about 7 points per game after coming back from injury, playing about 20 minutes per game, starting 2 games out of 23 total, averaging about 4 assists per game to only 1.2 turnovers per game, has always been a good playmaker, that's why they drafted him. Although being an overall talented and versatile player overall, definitely has good height and size at point guard, being about 6'6", 190 pounds with a good wingspan, can defend positions 1 through 3, and that's very unique and valuable at point guard. Definitely a good defensive player, when healthy anyways, but that's ultimately what it comes down to with him. Is he healthy? Can he remain healthy? And are the past injury concerns with him that did happen to keep him out for about 2 years, over 2 years at that, are they completely in the past, and is he moved on from it? Well, that's tough to say, but you could maybe say that and take that risk. Again, obviously plenty of reward to come with it. A good fitting point guard, a very talented point guard. He can play make for their team, can score for their team, can defend for their team, can do a lot of things for their team, or really any team at that. But then you gotta factor in the risk here as well. Not only did he get hurt last season and the one before that one, dealing with that meniscus injury that he had to have a meniscus transplant for, which I didn't even know was a thing until that happened. But even before that, dealt with ankle injuries, foot injuries, shoulder injuries, and has never hit the 65 game mark in any one season. So yeah, even beyond the knee injury and the 2.5 year absence that came with it, there has been plenty of injury history with Lonzo Ball. And you gotta factor that in here, can't forget about it. Obviously plenty of reward here, a very talented point guard and a guy they're definitely familiar with. Obviously they drafted him, but you gotta weigh the risk to reward ratio here. And if we're talking about through a trade what it would take to get him, not only in regard to draft compensation, but simply matching the contract and the salary that will come with him, they would have to trade Rui Hachimura with Jalen Hood-Schifino and another minimum contract with him, and then maybe a second round draft pick or 2. I'm not sure they'd have to go that far given the injury history with Lonzo Ball, but even trading Hachimura for Lonzo Ball would be quite a lot to give up. Now, don't get me wrong, I've definitely had my issues with Rui Hachimura. Number 1 being defense. He's not a good one-on-one defender, not a good help defender, simply not good on defense in general, and they do need more defense, especially on the wing. And from that standpoint, Lonzo Ball would be an upgrade, but when it comes to reliability and availability, the best ability, we gotta factor that in, and Rui Hachimura does win in that regard. So if you're making that kind of trade, I wouldn't want to give up Hachimura for Lonzo Ball straight up, let alone give up more assets with him. Even though I do like the fit, and I would call Lonzo Ball a fit upgrade compared to Rui Hachimura, it really comes down to availability, reliability, and again, the best ability for a guy on a team. And with that being said, I'd want more with Lonzo Ball, and the good thing about trading with a team like Chicago is that they have plenty to offer through a trade. No, we couldn't combine Zach LaVine with him, but you could pick a guy like Nikola Vucevic, who's been made available, Patrick Williams has been made available, Kobe White, who recently apparently has been made available, maybe even a guy like Jalen Smith or Ayo Dosunmu. Plenty of options to pick from here. I'd like an option for a guy like Ayo Dosunmu, combine him with Lonzo Ball, and then trade Rui Hachimura with Gabe Vincent, and I think that would be a much more beneficial deal for their team, a much more safe kind of trade, getting more durability and reliability with Ayo Dosunmu, with a high risk, high reward kind of guy like Lonzo Ball. Or instead, maybe try and pry for a guy like Kobe White. According to a new report, they are willing to trade him. It would take more compared to Ayo Dosunmu, but hey, throw in one unprotected first round draft pick and you might be able to get that deal done. And I definitely would be interested in it, whether it be with Lonzo Ball and Kobe White, or Lonzo Ball and Ayo Dosunmu. I would be very interested and would be willing to hear a deal like that out. Even if we would have to throw in one unprotected first round draft pick, maybe throw in a little bit less or a little bit more with more in return with them, I'd be willing to hear that out and make some kind of trade for it. But again, talking about trading for Lonzo Ball alone here, I'm not sure I would do that. And then for those that would say, well, wait until he gets waived and sign him through the buyout market, unfortunately they can't do that. If you watched my earlier video this week about the buyout market, I talked about the new CBA and how it affects the buyout market for a team like the Lakers who do happen to be a first apron team. And for a first apron or second apron team, they are no longer allowed to sign a free agent that gets waived, aka through the buyout market, that had a previous salary of over $12.9 million. Which for Lonzo Ball, he would qualify for that, currently making $21.3 million, and that's about double that amount, so he would not be eligible to sign with their team, or any other first apron or second apron team for that fact, so you can rule that one out right now. And again, with that in mind here, the only way to acquire him would be through a trade, and that's probably why they have reported interest in him. Not sure it'll happen, and not sure I want it to happen if it's only for Lonzo Ball alone, but if we're talking about a bigger trade with a guy like Ayo Dosunmu, maybe Kobe White, maybe even Nikola Vucevic for the right price, then I'd definitely be willing to hear it out. With that being said though, what do you guys think? How do you feel about, or how would you feel about trading for Lonzo Ball? Would you do it through a trade and for a one-for-one kind of trade, only getting him back in return? Or would you instead prefer to do it through a bigger trade or not trade for him at all through any situation? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. But I think that'll pretty much do it for this one, and if you enjoyed the video, then I would greatly appreciate it if you dropped a like, subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and hit that notification bell to never miss out when I upload a video. But as always, thank you for watching and have a great day.